As a seasoned Game of Thrones enthusiast who has spent countless hours debating theories and poring over every detail of the series, I must admit that the theory suggesting Daemon Targaryen is the Night King is not only far-fetched, but also unfounded. And then contains spoilers for Fire and Blood, the book on which House of the Dragon is based. I was thought about House of the Dragon body. One wild theory spinning out of House of the Dragon claims Daemon Targaryen is the Night King, but Game of Thrones already debunked this. The theory that Daemon is strong and the Night King has been around for a couple of years, going back to similarities in their costumes and uncertainty surrounding what happens to Daemon in George R.R. Martin's Fire and Blood. However, it really gained traction with House of the Dragon Season 2's ending. In the final scene, Daemon experienced a prophetic dream featuring a White Walker sporting golden Targaryen-esque hair, hinting at what might lie ahead for him. According to the book, Daemon perished in combat against his nephew, Daemon Targaryen. Yet no trace of his body was ever discovered, sparking rumors that he may have lived on. These ideas are further fueled by theories suggesting the Night King could be a Targaryen, largely due to surviving Dragonfire during the Long Night episode in Season 8 of Game of Thrones. While this notion makes for an intriguing fan theory, I'm afraid it doesn't align with reality. In Game of Thrones, the Night King's background wasn't thoroughly explored, but we were given a glimpse of how he came to be. In Season 6, Episode 5, titled The Door,
we witness Bran having a vision where a man is bound to a magical tree known as a weirwood, transformed into a White Walker by the children of the forest. When one of them stabs him with a dragonstone dagger. This event took place during the children's conflict with humans called the First Men, and the creation of the Night King, and subsequently the White Walkers.
It's undeniably true that the man transformed into the Night King is not Daemon Targaryen. This isn't just because the series House of the Dragon hadn't been created yet, and Matt Smith hadn't been chosen for the role. Moreover, he bears no resemblance to a Targaryen, which makes perfect sense given the circumstances. The enigmatic figure was actually one of the first men, the early inhabitants of Westeros. It's not just that he doesn't look like a Targaryen, but it's impossible for him to be one. This event happened around 2,000 years before Valyria rose, and approximately 10,000 years prior to the arrival of the Targaryens in Westeros. And in simpler terms, although it's not completely impossible for Daemon to transform into the Night King due to time travel, it's highly unlikely. Let's say 99% improbable. This is because an episode revealed both the origin of the Night King and Bran's interaction with the past through a time loop involving Hodor. However, there's no indication that Daemon could manipulate time to such an extent as to become the Night King, even though it's theoretically possible. The theory that Daemon is the Night King almost certainly isn't true, but that its gained traction shows Game of Thrones did mishandle its big villain.
Yes, wild, wacky theories will often gain popularity, if for nothing else than their inherent silliness and the fun of talking about them. But the Daemon theory in particular exists because there's such a vacuum of knowledge about the White Walkers, and it's one that really ought to have been filled.
There is very little information available about the man who transformed into the Night King. It's possible that he could have been a Stark or a Northerner, since his origins seem to be from there. Could it be that he was an early Green Seer, which may explain why he was selected for this role? Is it plausible that the children of the forest were responsible for creating other White Walkers as well? How many White Walkers did he create, and what were they doing during the thousands of years following
The Long Night.
Many intriguing, unresolved questions remain in Game of Thrones, some of which were left unexplored intentionally. This, along with the vague portrayal of Bran's vision during Season 6 and Red's the natural fading of memories over time, has given rise to theories like Daemon being the Night King, or other seemingly implausible ones, such as the theory that Bran himself was the Night King. And in the epic series Game of Thrones, it may seem logical that the White Walkers, beings akin to forces of nature intent on destroying mankind, remain enigmatic. However, the show introduces an element of humanity to them when the first man is transformed into a White Walker. This contradiction raises questions, especially since they are the main antagonists throughout the series and the world's greatest peril. Yet, there's no explanation provided, which is one reason why theories about Daemon being the Night King gain popularity. While it's unlikely, what might be the real truth was unfortunately overlooked.